Hello friends, welcome back to another remote Kinstretch with the Fitness Alchemists. Today we're going to work on some different setups to help you open up the front of hip tissue. And we've heard from a lot of folks that being on one knee and kneeling isn't great, especially with the cushion options that you have at home. So today we're going to offer you some different ways to work on opening up that stuff that don't involve being in this half kneeling position on the floor. If you have a dowel, that's going to be super handy. And otherwise, we're going to utilize the couch that I know everyone has at home. This is our makeshift couch. And that's about it. All right, gang. So we're going to start by warming up the different components that will be at play as we get into this work. We'll begin with a little warming up of the spine. So we'll start with your full cat-cow. Take a moment to make your hands and knees and toes or tops of feet heavy into the floor, and then begin curling just your tailbone under and slowly rounding up through your spine as best you can, one vertebra at a time. Good. Once you get round here, gang, you're going to stay round. If I was at home, I'd place my hand right in between your shoulder blades. I want you to push up into my hand here. Really spread that space between your shoulder blades. Tuck your chin to your chest and keep that round. And then start to poke your tailbone up to the ceiling and find an arch one vertebra at a time just in your lower back, just enough that you don't lose the rounding in your upper back. When you can't go any further with that, pause and tuck your tail back under, rounding through your lower back. So it's like a mini cat-cow that happens from your waist down to your tailbone, just that section of your spine, your lower back or your lumbar spine. Keep working with that. You're on the clock here. Lifting your tail feathers, finding an arch, and then tucking back under. Again, remember my hand is there in between your shoulder blades and you're pushing up into it, keeping that upper back really rounded so that we don't allow any movement there, and we guide our movement focus into the lower back. Very nice. Make sure you're breathing. Breath is your friend here. Good. Next time you get fully round, pause there. Imagine I've taken my hand away, and now you're going to start at your tailbone, but work your way through your full spine, coming into the sway back or spinal extension shape, one vertebra at a time. Take your time, as many breaths as you need. Feeling finally your collarbones pull through your arms and your chin lifts. Fabulous. We're going to give the wrists a little bit of a break. I'd like you to come up to any comfortable seated position. Reach your arms out at shoulder height for some scapular cars. Take a moment to pack some air into your abdominals, get a good planked brace. And for today, go ahead and rotate into external rotation so that your palms are facing the ceiling. Keep that rotation as you pull your shoulder blades into the spine, slide up towards the ears, push wide across your back and down towards your back pockets. Keep going in that same direction. Gliding in, shrugging up, spreading wide, and coming down. Keep going. As you move, just have a little eye. Are the ribs still staying knitted together, or are you starting to find a little bit of that arch and round of the spine? We want to keep that quiet and just move the shoulder blades on a still, stable rib cage. Very nice. Pause wherever you are and reverse direction. Rewind. Check that your palms are still facing the ceiling, that your elbows are actively straight, that your shoulder blades are working, fighting for a little bit more range. Up, in, down, and wide. Let's get one more in. Up, in, down, and wide. Fantastic. Let that go. Come back to your quadruped position for now some hip cars. These are going to function as our test and retest today. So we're going to do a set at the beginning of the class and a set at the end of the class. And it's a chance for you to feel the differences that we've made with this work that we've done within the day, and see how that affects your familiar movement. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Take a deep breath in. Pack some air down, really stiffen through the midsection, and then start to drive your heel up to the ceiling as high as you can without your spine changing shape. Push that leg out to the side. Start to turn the corner and draw your knee towards your elbow or your outer shoulder. Knee towards your chest. Get your knee to brush your other knee and pass through. Continue on. Good. You're on the clock here, team. No need to count reps. Just want you to keep moving your hip car in that direction. And if quadruped is really not a great position for you for any reason, you can absolutely do side lying or any other hip car based position that you know. Wherever you are, pause. Re-stiffen your midsection and reverse direction with that hip car. Rewind. Good, you got it. Is your belt buckle still looking at the floor? Are both elbows still straight? Could you actively push the ground away to gather more tension through your upper body and your midsection and buy that hip just a little bit more freedom? Last 10 seconds. It's okay if you end partway through a rep. Just keep committing to that smooth 1 mile per hour cadence for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Give your wrists a little circle while Will is changing positions here, so we have room to stay on camera with you. Good. And then once again, setting up for that new leg, make the hands heavy into the floor, actively straight elbows. You're pushing the ground away. Deep breath in, create a nice abdominal brace, packing some air down into that canister, and then start to drive your heel towards the ceiling. When you can't get any more of that without your spine changing shape, push your leg out to the side. Thigh bone away from the other thigh bone. Start to pull your knee around towards your elbow, towards your chest, and then get the knees or the thighs to brush each other as you pass through for another rep. Continuing in the same direction. You're on the clock here. No need to count reps, but each time you pass through each of these positions, try to see if you can get a little bit more. Can you find the muscles that are contracting to pull you into each position? Pause wherever you are, reinvest in your midsection tension, your strong arms, and reverse direction. You got it. Keep breathing to fuel your work. Even though you're braced through your midsection, you don't need to be holding your breath. Life is good. Check that both elbows are still straight. Check that your belt buckle is still staring fixedly at the floor. It will try to peek towards that moving leg. Don't let it. We want to train the hip. We're not interested in training rotation of the spine or the pelvis. For 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. All right. Bookmark how those felt. We're going to be coming back to those in a little bit. From here, we're going to come into our couch pigeon position. I'm very, maybe absurdly proud of this name. So one leg will be in front of you in roughly a 90-90 position, and this is something you can wiggle around with. The other leg is going to drape down off of the couch. And then if you feel a little unbalanced on the edge of the couch, you may find that you feel better turning your belt buckle a little more, rotating your shape so that you're facing a little bit more towards the back of the couch and you feel more of your leg on. The main thing we're looking for is that this bottom leg is able to drape off. So stay where you can see us just for a second. We're going to be locating a stretch in this front of hip tissue, and then we're going to be doing a PAILs contraction to engage it, and then a rails contraction to try to get more stretch. And that's really how I want you to think about it today. So the PAILs will be as though Will is trying to drive his foot down into the floor, but also having the idea that he would scoop his knee up and forward towards his chest, kind of like that very action of the hip car. But the foot is glued to the floor, so nothing can move. The rails will be two things: trying to tuck your tailbone under, just like that spinal car we warmed up with in the beginning, and trying to glide your thigh bone back. Now, watch this for 1 second. If we focus too hard on just gliding the thigh bone back without tucking the tail, watch what happens. Yeah, we just end up getting a big arch in the spine. And what we're really looking for is to open this front side of the hip. So we want to both curl the pelvis and then send the thigh bone back. And it'll feel like you're getting a really intense butt squeeze potentially, and like you're really finding more of a deep stretch on the front side. That's more the thing to look for than any movement. All right, so come on into position. Start hunting around for your stretch, sliding the draping leg behind you. Will just gave us a nice indication of where we're looking to feel that stretch, right through the front of the hip. And once you find it, breathe and try to relax into the stretch. And this is really a moment for some personal responsibility, because if you feel like you're teetering on the edge of your couch, if you feel uncomfortable in your back foot, let's say your toes are tucked under versus laid flat, and that's causing pain in the toes, it's going to be really hard for your nervous system to relax and for your tissues to relax. So this is a time to scan your body, find those places that are not feeling safe or not feeling grounded. See if there are any little adjustments that you can make to your position to still feel a great stretch through the front of your hip, but to feel really stable and supported in this position. And then start taking a big breath into your belly, feeling your belly expand on the inhale, and then feeling your belly gently contract on the exhale. Not a big effort on these breaths, just little down regulation of that stressed out nervous system situation. Life is good. Excellent. All right, team. Staying in the position where you feel a great stretch through the front of your thigh, we're going to begin our PAILs effort, and I want you to start very gently. So the first thing you're going to endeavor to do here is just to make your floor foot a little heavier into the floor, sinking it down. And then imagine that I've come around to your house and super glued that foot to the floor, and you're going to start to try to drag the floor forward with just like a 3 out of 10 effort, not super intense, just gentle. And check that that is in fact engaging the front of thigh stretched tissue that you were feeling. Wherever you felt that stretch, that's where we want to feel a little bit of engagement. And then start ramping up so you find a 5 out of 10 intensity there. Good. Stay at that 5 out of 10, and now see if you can brace your body. So your midsection, if your hands are holding on to something they can squeeze, your armpits can squeeze down like an anti-shrug. And then find an 8 out of 10 intensity, trying to drag the floor forward. If you were free to move, your knee would come up and around to your chest. Visualize that happening, and just maintain that 8 out of 10 here for 5. 4, yes. 3, this should feel like some strength training. 2, stay in position. 1, slowly let that fade away. Now, try to scoop your tailbone under. The other way to think about that is that you're going to curl your belt buckle towards your face. That might already produce a deeper stretch. Keep that, and then see if you can imagine sliding your thigh bone back, sliding your floor foot back on the floor. Just don't let it overwhelm the tuck of the tail. Tuck of the tail is priority number 1. Priority number 2 is trying to slide that thigh bone back. This might feel like a really intense butt squeeze or glute contraction. Should definitely feel like an increased sensation of stretch on the front. Hold on to the strongest effort you can maintain for 5. You've got this. Breathing. 4. Doing great, Will. 3, 2, stay in position and slowly relax. Whoo. Breathe. Let everything come back to melty. Excellent. All right, team. We're going to run that sequence on our other side. So you can stand up, take a moment to feel the difference in your legs as you're transitioning. Sometimes you'll already feel a little more movement opportunity opened up there. And just keep in mind that if you feel a stark difference right after doing one set of PAILs and rails, that's great, but that's really your nervous system going, oh, I can trust this hip in this range. That trust we just bought is temporary. But if we train often enough in those ranges, then the muscle tissues actually start to adapt and gain strength in those ranges, and then those changes become more permanent and more readily accessible to us right when you get out of bed in the morning. That's our real goal with Kinstretch over time. All right, so arranging yourself to find comfortable, stable position, seeking out a stretch through the front of the hip, front of the thigh. Variables to play with here are your back foot, resting on the shoelaces part of your foot, or with toes tucked under. It'll be more comfortable one way or the other depending on the person, potentially depending on the softness or hardness of your floor. And then start your breathing into your belly and out. Encouraging those stretching tissues to melt, to accept the longer position than they're used to. Doing that scan through your body to see if there's any place that's uncomfortable, where a micro adjustment could be made to find a little bit more ease while still digging in on that deep stretch. And again, that's going to be really unique to you and your setup. That's something we want you to get in the habit of doing anytime you're working on Kinstretch. So you start to make this practice your own. Good. All right, gang, we're going to start our first PAILs effort. So I want you to imagine now that you're going to make your back foot a little heavier into the floor, just like 3 out of 10. Start small. Give yourself somewhere to go. Imagine I've come by and super glued your back foot to the floor. And then you're glued, but you're going to start to try to drag your foot forward. So Will's trying to drag his knee forward into my hand, but he's stuck heavy to the floor. Ramp that up to a 5 out of 10 effort. At 5 out of 10, you're going to keep dragging, but you're going to make sure your body is matching you there. So midsection is braced, armpits are strong. If the hands are holding on to something, they can squeeze it. Send help to those hip tissues that we're training. And then ramping up to an 8 out of 10 effort. Again, your goal here is to engage the front side of the hip and thigh that was on stretch. Those are the muscles that are trying to contract. If you're new to this type of work, it might not feel like they have a strong contraction to give. You might feel like you're stuck at a 5 out of 10. That's okay. Maintain that greatest effort up to an 8 out of 10 that you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, stay in position. 1, slowly let that effort fade away. Now find a tuck of your tail, curling your tail under. And then if you can add to that, sliding your thigh bone back, that's great. If just the tuck of the tail is what you can find, that's your first priority. Ramp that up to the strongest effort you can possibly find for 5, 4, 3, yes, 2, 1, slowly relax. Try to leave your bones where they are. Just slowly melt tension out of the muscles. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Okay, we're going to get after those same tissues, but from a slightly different position. And we're gonna, here's where your dowel will come in handy if you have it. If you don't have a dowel, you can set yourself up near the arm of the couch and put your hand on the arm of the couch, and that will work similarly well. So you're going to stand in front of your couch and place one knee, let's say the one that was not just working, just to be a little nicer to yourself, on the seat of the couch, such that your ankle or your shin is resting on the back of the couch. So I'll show from the side here. Your back leg will look something like this with the foot resting on the back of the couch. Depending on how intense this feels for your knee, if you scoot forward and have less of a closed angle on your knee, that will probably feel better. If you have a lot of range to get tightened up like this, you can work from there, but that's a variable to play with. You want to find what's right for you. Now here, we're already putting this front of hip tissue on stretch. So the main variable we want to work with to increase or bow our stretch is that tuck of the tail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be juicy right in there. If you feel like you can't access any tuck of the tail at all, try moving your knee forward so that your hip is further away from your heel in the behind you position. If you've got that dowel, you can place it right in front of you and drive it into the ground for a little bit of support. Hang out in that stretch and take a few breaths. Also, your front leg can be bent or straight as it feels good to you. And then one more time, team, see if you can get any more tuck of the tail happening. Yes, beautiful. Nicely. Exactly. Okay, now maintain that stretched position here. Start to make your foot against the back of the couch heavy. If the couch wasn't in the way, you'd place your foot down. Give me a 3 out of 10 on that. Super glue your knee to the couch cushion and try to drag your knee forward. You're still tucking your tail. You haven't let that up. Give me a nice 5 out of 10 effort here and just hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now tuck your tail more. Try to find a better butt squeeze on the back and see if you can make your foot light off of the couch cushions. Maybe it will come towards you and actually lift, maybe it won't. Whatever you get there is fine. Drive that stick into the ground, tuck the tail, heel towards the butt, foot light for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Good. Reestablish curling your tail, reestablish stretch through the front. The other way to think about that second effort that I'm asking for is that you've got a balloon in your knee pit and you're going to try to pop it. We'll do that one more time. Curl your tail under, make sure you've got the best stretch you can through the front of the leg. Start to make your back foot heavy, like you're trying to bring your foot away from your butt. Push down into the back of the couch. Super glue your knee to the couch cushion seat. Try to drag that forward, engaging that front of hip tissue stuff, ramping up to a nice 5 out of 10 effort and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck your tail more. Get a good butt squeeze best you can, and then try to pop that balloon in your knee pit or to make your foot light off of the back of the couch. Hold, fight for it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Ooh, take a deep breath. All right, we're gonna switch sides on that. Good. Setting up on your new side. You're placing your knee on the seat of the couch. Your foot is resting on the back of the couch. And you're arranging your dowel or getting yourself shimmied over next to the arm of the couch so you can have something to press down on for upper body stability. Nice. From here, curl your belt buckle towards your face, or you can think tuck your tail under if you had a tail. Expose a nice line of stretch through the front of thigh stuff, front of hip stuff. Breathe into it. Everything's fine. Just opening up a little hip range here today. Good. All right, from here we're going to start our PAILs effort. So your back foot starts to become heavier into the back of the couch. If that couch went in the way, you'd place your foot back down. Your knee is now super glued to the couch cushion and you're trying to drag it forward. Your goal here is to engage the stuff on the front side of the hip. Ramp up to a nice 5 out of 10 effort. Maintain. 5, 4, 3, 2, stay in position. 1, see if you can curl your tail under more. Really squeeze the glute of that leg and then try to make your back foot light off the back of the couch. This might be hamstring cramp city. If it is, try to ramp just under the cramp. Give me your strongest, best effort that you can maintain for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in position, but slowly relax. Ooh. Very nice. We're going to do that just one more time. You got it. See if you can curl your tail under any more. Start to make your back foot heavy on the back of the couch. Thinking opening up that knee angle. Super glue your knee to the couch seat and try to drag it forward towards us. Ramp up to a nice 5 out of 10 effort and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck your tail more, get the best butt squeeze you can find. Try to make your back foot light off the back of the couch, but that tuck of the tail is much more important than that your foot actually lifts or get light. Find the best contraction that you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Take a deep breath. Ooh, excellent. All right, take that foot away. And you can take your dowel away as well. Nice. We're going to come back to our hip cars to retest. So you're going to make your way back to your hands and knees position. Starting with whichever leg you'd like, but maybe the one that wasn't just working, if you want to be nice to yourself. Nice, strong arms pressing into the floor. Deep breath in, create a good brace through the abdominals, and start to drive your heel up to the ceiling. This is where you might notice some extra space, different change, different muscles turning on. Start to come out to the side and around, pulling the kneecap towards the elbow, towards the chest. Make contact between the thighs and pass through. Keep going in that same direction. Brace your midsection, but drive your thigh bone up to the sky. Oh yeah. Good. Pulling the knee towards the chest and pass through. We'll do one more. Keep pushing the floor away, shoulder blades wide. Arms strong, both elbows straight. And pause when the knees come together, reverse direction. You got it, team. Kick up. Knees brush past each other or thighs brush past each other. Pull that knee to the chest. And out to the side. Good, you got it. Finding your 1 mile per hour pace. Reinvest. It's the last rep on this side. Can you have more brace through your midsection to clarify what the hip is capable of? Leaving your spine out of the mix for now. And rest. Awesome. Give your wrists a little rotational break. Turn yourself around and get ready for that new side. Nice straight stiff arms pressing into the floor. Midsection braced. Imagine I've balanced a glass of your favorite beverage on your back. You're not going to spill any as you go through this move. And begin. Driving your heel up to the ceiling. Pushing that leg out to the side. Coming around the corner. Knee pulls towards the elbow, towards the chest. Get contact between the thighs as you pass through. Good. If this is a fairly new movement, just focus on that cadence, 1 mile per hour. If you're a hip cars regular, I want you to really zero in on what muscles are waking up during this movement that you don't normally feel. Do you have access to things that aren't always on for you? Pause and reverse direction. Good. Keep breathing and reinvest. Is your midsection still as strongly braced as it was when you started the set? If not, turn that up. We usually start out with a good amount of brace and then it fades a little bit as we go. Good. Last one here. Three, two, one. All right, team, enjoy your hips. Hopefully they will feel buttery for the rest of the day. You might feel some soreness in the front of hip tissues. For most of us, the hip flexor area is actually fairly weak, and we did do some isometric strength training for that stuff. So if you're a little sore there tomorrow, we won't be surprised. Treat yourself to some extra gentle hip cars tomorrow just to flush that out of the system. We'll see you next time.